It is Tuesday, which means it is time to review a Marvel comic. And you're probably thinking, what is he talking about? He is acting like he has a schedule. Have I missed a video announcing that? And the thing is, I have come up with an official schedule that dictates what sort of comics I'm going to read on specific days. But I haven't been bothered to make a video about it because I thought, I'll probably just abandon it after a few days anyway. But it's quite a simple schedule, really. Actually, I will cover it right now just so that I can say that I have. Monday, DC Comics. It can be any DC comic I own. Tuesday, Marvel Comics, same as before. Wednesday, Excellent Men. There's loads of Excellent Men comics and solo books as well, so I thought they deserved their own day. Thursday, crossovers. That can be like big events or just little team-ups. Friday is miscellaneous. But the thing is, I don't think I have enough comics that fit that bracket, so it's more than likely just going to end up as Random Comic Day. And then during the weekend, I thought I'd spotlight stuff from my two big collections. So on Saturday, it'll be something from my Kazar collection. And then on Sunday, because it is the Lord's Day, it'll be something from my Spectre collection. Now, if you don't like either of those characters, then don't worry, because my collection is really quite thorough. So I've got stuff like team books that they're in, or guest starring roles, or like the first appearance of some of their villains. So it's not just going to be every Sunday an issue of the Spectre. It might be the Justice Society of Superheroes, or that crossover one that I've already started reviewing, the rubbish one. But today it is Tuesday, so it's a Marvel comic, and today it is The Defenders. And straight off the bat, I'll point out the elephant in the room. This is a Dracula, and as I've said before, they give me the willies. But this comic is so good that I am willing to overlook the nightmares that I am going to have because I read it. And these characters here, they're the Defenders. I'll do them clockwise like I normally do. This is the Valkyrie before she was blackened up. This is Doctor Strange. We all know him from the films. This is Etrigan the Demon, a Jack Quimby character. And then we have got Hellstorm, Son of Satan. And this is Kate Leff, aka the Cat. And in another video, actually, I said this was my favourite issue of The Defenders. And a day later, I regretted saying that because I thought of another issue that I really liked. And I thought, oh, maybe that one is my favourite instead. But after rereading this one, I will happily go on record as saying this is my favourite issue of The Defenders. We open up and the Defenders are returning to their base, which is really just Doctor Strange's house. The Defenders are weird, really. Should I go into... Yeah, I think I will. The Defenders, the first 12 issues of their comic are pretty bad. And then after issue 12 to about issue 90, their comic is so unbelievably average. But then around issue 91 or 92, they got a new writer, and the comic became really, really good. This is issue 95. And I think between issue 92 and issue 104, or maybe 105, whichever issue it was where the Smurf from the Excellent Men joined the team, you got a good year and a bit of really, really good stories. And even after issue 105 or whenever, you got another year or two of decent stories. It wasn't until the New Defenders, when they revamped it as the New Defenders, with 3 members of the Excellent Men, that the book became really, really awful. I reviewed one of those comics, the last ever issue of the Defenders, that is so bad that the book got cancelled and pretty much killed off the Defenders forever. There have been loads of attempts to bring it back, but none of them have really worked. They've been mostly pretty bad. They've all been cancelled really fast. But there was one that was good, and even that got cancelled after 6 issues. But yeah, the Defenders, they're a bunch of weirdos. And this is their base, Doctor Strange's house. But weirdly, they actually have 2 bases, but they seem to just forget about the other one. One is Doctor Strange's house, and the other one is a ranch. a ranch in the middle, like, of ranch in the outskirts of New York. And that ranch was actually briefly used as a base by the Thunderbolts. They destroyed it after 2 issues. But that's long into the future of this comic. This is back in the 80s. The Defenders are returning to the headquarters after fighting a demon cult in the issue before, and they found the door is like ajar, and someone's broken in and there's an intruder, and you're probably all thinking, oh, it's going to be the Dracula, isn't it? And this comic does a fantastic bait and switch with that. We think, oh, it is definitely the Dracula, but no, it is the other member of the Defenders, Batman, and he was actually left off the cover, and that normally annoys me a lot, but I think it was clever to leave him off, because it meant this intro was able to be the big bait and switch that it was. And what's happening with Batman is a lot of the characters in Defenders, they'd been pretty wishy-washy. So this writer, he was trying new things with them, and with Batman, he introduced this this kind of weird new element where during the day he was paralyzed, but during the night he was fine and he could like jump around and stuff. It wasn't the best really, but at least it was trying something new, and we learn a bit about that here and why it's happening to him. And this is actually the first meeting between Batman and Etrigan. This is kind of notable since they actually become like really close friends. I like seeing little bits like this, like the first meetings of 2 characters that go on to be quite linked. It's a bit like that comic I reviewed yesterday where we saw the first meeting of Dr. Fate and the Spectre. And today here it's these 2. And that good Defenders series that I mentioned, the one that got cancelled, if I remember, it was like based on the fact that these 2 are good friends. And then what happens is we get a little bit of Etrigan's origin, and we learn about the demon cult from last issue. There they are there. And how Etrigan, he was going to sacrifice Kate Leff to the devil. And you can see there, Batman, it's become daytime, so he's losing all his mobility, he's becoming paralysed again. And at first he's like, oh, why is this happening to me? This is so unfair. And he's like, oh, no, actually, this isn't that bad. At least I'm still able to move during the night. I mean, people have it worse than this. I really like this. And I think this is a nice little bit of visual storytelling, how you can see his mood changing over the 3 things. And I never thought I'd say this, but Kate Leff is gorgeous. She is like really, really pretty. Like she's an understated bombshell. I really fancy her. And the thing is, she is really mad at the Etrigan the demon because he was trying to sacrifice her to the devil. And during that story, here's an advert for the Bruce Lee comic, and I really don't like this. I don't like martial arts comics. And when he was trying to sacrifice her, we found out that her mother sold her soul to Satan in exchange so that the mother could live longer. And what happens is Hellstorm, the son of Satan, and Kat, they go to her mother's grave to use magic to see if the claims are true. They are. She sold her daughter's soul to prolong her own life. But obviously it is Satan, so it didn't work, so she died anyway. This is another thing, actually, another thing the writer introduced, a romance between Kat and Hellstorm. It was probably one of the things that worked best, actually. It was the classic kind of opposites attract thing, and it added a lot of depth to both the characters, I felt. Like the ditzy, airhead, good girl model falling in love with the dark and brooding Antichrist. I liked their relationship, really, but unfortunately that awful Hellstorm comic, the atheist one, it completely tossed their relationship under the bus. And I think the current canon is that he was like abusing her and torturing her and stuff between the panels. On that front though, this page here, there's a really good subtle bit of storytelling. She's crying because she's found out her mother did sell her soul, and he goes to comfort her, but he's scared, so he doesn't. No words, it's just like visual storytelling. Then we've got this little bit here. It's a nice little cross-reference thing with Valkyrie being contacted by the fairy people from Fairyland, and they're talking about recent things happening in Thor's comic. And this comic, actually, it follows like a model, kind of like a template model. Well, something I consider to be one of the template models of comics, where the first 10 pages, they are downtime. They feature character stuff like this, or backstory and exposition, and then the last 12 pages are where the action happens, where the meat of the comic is. And I think that is quite a good model to follow. It's only really a problem, or really noticeable, when you do it every issue. Like the Todd McFarlane and Eric Larson's, their runs on Amazing Spider-Man, every issue followed that exact like template. There would be 10 pages of downtime, then 12 pages of action, and it became really, really noticeable. And we're talking about like 40 to 50 comics in a row of that exact formula. But it is really good here. It really works. Not every issue of the Defenders is like that. And it's here where we get past the downtime and the action starts. We've got all the team there, and there's another character that was missing on the cover. That is Rachel McAdams. She doesn't have a line of dialogue in the whole comic, so I think it's understandable that they actually overlooked her. And I'm actually just going to read this bit because it's really, really well done. Doctor Strange, he is talking about the demon cult, the things he's found out, but then suddenly he just stops mid-sentence and we cut away to this bat in the sky, and we go back to Doctor Strange and he's worried. He's like, images of Icon, what is it, Strange? I'm not sure, Damon, but it feels like, and then we cut to the bat again. Yes, I can read it clearly now. He's coming, and he's charged with enough power to break through my defenses. Who? Oh, that's Rachel McAdams' single line in the comic. I didn't realise she had one. Who is coming, beloved? And then we cut to the bat. The Lord of the Undead, the King of the world's Dracula hosts. And they're back, crashing through the window. A Dracula! That really, really sets up the Dracula really well. Like, Doctor Strange is immediately concerned about his presence, and a lot of it is actually, again, it's just visual storytelling. The artist of this one, he gets a lot of grief, and people say that he isn't that good because he is kind of like a house style artist. But it's really unfair because while his art might be unremarkable when you look at like strictly one panel, he absolutely nails little moments and visual storytelling like this. It's not really flashy art, but that doesn't mean it's bad. And then we've got this bit with the Dracula. He is fighting off the Defenders, and I'm just going to keep reading it actually. Without a word, he is among them, red eyes glazing or blazing like dying suns, fangs gleaming in the lamplight, and he's smacking Kate Leff and Batman away. And then they keep on fighting. Etrigan leaps at him, and to most of the people gathered here, this towering creature has always been a thing of myth, a child's nightmare. It is to their credit that they leap so readily into the fray. And then Hellstorm, son of Satan, he starts fighting it. But there are others whose lives tread the fine line between nightmare and reality, and they know what it is they face. Doctor Strange, you must hold him somehow. Quickly, this is more than it appears. We are in agreement there, Damien. I have faced a Dracula before, and never did I note such heaviness in it. I don't know why I'm still reading it, really. This is just they hold the Dracula captive. He briefly escapes, but then Son of Satan, he uses fire, and that's like Dracula's weakness. And the thing is, Dracula's come to them because, well, we get the backstory on the next page. His army of Draculas, he has been like taken over as the leader by right, well, they assume it is Satan, and it is later revealed to be Satan, but it's treated like a demon in this one. He has taken over, leading all the Draculas. Dracula came because he blamed the defenders because this is the son of Satan and stuff. And what happens is they decide actually they're on the same side, kind of. They want to stop the demon, the devil, from leading the Draculas. And I'm going to read this bit as well because it is really good if I find the right bit to start. It is clear, Mr. Dracula, that we share a common cause. Much as I am loath to admit it, an alliance is in order. A Dracula needs no man's help, magician, least of all yours. You nearly destroyed me once, and I am certain you would attempt it again. And you can read about when Doctor Strange nearly destroyed this Dracula in Dracula, issue 41. I've not read that because, as I've said before, these terrify me. And under other circumstances, I would help him, but for now, we could... he would help him destroy him. I've kind of ruined the consistency because I pointed this out. And under other circumstances, I would help him, but for now, we could benefit from mutual assistance. We must trust each other. There, then, you would place your trust in such a thing? I would, for you see, it is said that even a Dracula knows the meaning of honour. I am above all a man of honour, a man of my word, but tell me, whelp, is there equal honour in hell? There is. Then let an uneasy truce be called, but beware, at the first hint of treachery you will have an enemy at your throats, and a Dracula is a most formidable enemy. And they go to the castle, and there is a bit of a mistake here, a colouring mistake. This is meant to be night time, but it's coloured like it is day. This presents two problems. Draculas don't come out during the day, and Batman would be paralysed. I think what happened was the artist drew this, and it was meant to be nighttime, and he drew this cloud. But the colourist mistakenly saw the cloud and took it as a suggestion that it was daytime. But we get this big fight between the defenders and the army of Draculas, side by side with the main Dracula, and it's a good little fight. I like it. It does that thing I always like, where you get to see every member of the team doing something specific. Like the Valkyrie here, she's fighting off loads of the Draculas, and we get this thing here. Even the Valkyrie, who has walked through Valhalla beside the goddess of death herself, is overcome with repulsion at the sight of these slime-caked malodorous creatures. And then we've got this little character bit here with Etrigan the demon. We saw before that Kate Leth hated him, but Etrigan, he still saves her from the Draculas. And then this is like the host of Satan, and Hellstorm, the son of Satan, he's kind of like leading the team, but he's got a secret plan. He's actually not just going to kill all the army of Draculas, he's going to kill the main Dracula as well, despite giving his word that there was a truce. It's really good, this comic. It's really good. And then what happens is he gets all the Draculas. He's going to get all the Draculas. He gets all the Draculas and surrounds them with fire, and he's going to keep them captured until the sun comes up, so they all die. But at the very last moment, he was going to kill the main one as well. But at the last moment, he goes, "You must leave immediately. Curse you, demon! Move!" So at the last minute, he saves the main one's life because of honour and that. And we've got good writing here as well. Is it only Hellstorm's imagination, or does the Dracula smile and nod to him? He will never know, for man turns to mist, mist to bat, and then the vampire lord is gone. And even as his leathern wings form vanishes into the clouds, Castle Dracula, again, that's continuing the story. I need to work out better where the bits I want to read end. And yeah, all the Draculas, they get melted by the sun, and then we end with the bit about because the sun's coming out, Batman he loses mobility again, and then we get the little character thing about where is it? I really should make some sort of like a note where stuff begins. You warned him away, Damien. Why? Why let a creep like that run around loose? Why didn't you cream him? He would have done it to us. Would he have, Kate? I wonder. For all his sins, the Dracula is a man of his word. Yet I was ready to break mine and betray his trust. Did you understand, Kate? That is why I had to own him. I had to learn if there was a shred of decency in my own corrupt heart, or if my dark soul had totally destroyed all I once was. I had to learn if there was honour in hell, after all. Really good, really good. Next issue, Ghost Driver. That's a pretty good issue as well. And this is... I was considering doing a separate video just about this letters bit, because this is really good. At first I thought it's the editor writing it, but it's actually the writer. And the thing is, first letter, really, really negative, says they don't like the book. And look at this response. Thanks for the kind words, Kent. If the creative team can put as much care and feeling into the Defenders as you put into your letter, I think we'll all be pleased. And this is a negative letter. Like, he didn't call him a Nazi or anything, was really respectful. And then the writer goes on to say how he, like, a counter-argument. And this is a negative letter as well, pointing out that one issue ripped off a Justice League comic. And the writer, again, he isn't angry, he just says, well, it was meant as a Justice League tribute. It's really good. I really approve this letters page. It really reflects well on a comic. This is how comic book professionals should act. This comic, though, this is really, really good. The best issue of the Defenders. I rate this 7 thumbs up without a doubt.